Hello, y'all, and welcome to FloTrack's all-new show, The Meetup, presented by Wonderful Pistachios. I'm your host, Demitra Carter, and joined with me today, I have Johnny Pace. How are you feeling?
Demitra, I'm fired up. So happy to be here with the brand new show. The set is looking fantastic, and we have so much to look forward to this year in track and field. So can't wait to get that going with this new show.
I agree. I'm so excited. Ashley Tishins, you are a recognizable face on this FloTrack show. Welcome to the new FloTrack show. How are you feeling? Are you excited?
I mean, hey, new show, but back in the studio. I'm super excited to be here. And like Johnny said, just talk about track and field. We have a big year ahead.
Awesome. And then Joshua Potts, the newest Miles Split West editor. Welcome to Austin. How are you feeling?
I'm doing good, man. First time to Austin, all the way from California. Honestly, I'm super excited to get into all the high school news. Y'all are looking good. The set's looking amazing. I got the generic tee, but y'all fit it.
You're rocking it. You're looking great.
You can tune in every single Tuesday during the entire track season to talk all things track right here at the Meetup. But let's first kind of dive into the best thing that we saw last week. Ashley, I don't know if you want to dive into the first one, the Baton attack. Talk to me a little bit about it, the details.
Maybe we shouldn't have called it the best thing we saw last week, but something crazy we saw last week. I know I've seen it all over my social media channels, but at the Virginia Indoor State Championships, a runner got hit in the head with a baton as she was trying to pass on the curve, which I don't know if, I've never seen that. I'm sure y'all probably haven't ever seen that either.
A bold strategy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And I know we have the video queued up here, so we're going to go take a look at that here in just a second.
Yeah, let's go ahead and play that.
But yeah, as you can see, again, this was at the Virginia Interstate Championships. You're going to see Kaylin Tucker here is going to pass on the outside. And then right there, she gets struck in the head with the baton. She falls to the ground. Her team does not finish that race. And, you know, since then, she's spoken out like, you know, I never got an apology from the coach or the runner. She said she got diagnosed with a concussion, I think a skull fracture as well. I mean,
and for the record,
crazy.
For the record, that strategy is strictly off limits.
Yeah. So I guess my question is like, you know, is this an isolated, like, I've never seen this before. Like, I think the question is like, was it intentional or not? Which maybe we should or shouldn't be debating. I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, she wound it up a little bit.
There is the wind up.
Yeah.
Sure. There was the wind up, but honestly, if we look at the tape, like, I don't know if she came out and she said she didn't do it intentionally. That wasn't her intent. I think she was tripping a little bit and her arms sort of flailed in the moment and her head ended up being in the way. I don't know if that's what happened, but that could have been a possibility.
You think her head got in the way of a moment of emotion?
Yeah, because she was flailing. I've been in the moment before where someone has passed me last 100 and I scream no. You know, like you get emotional.
The
in
adrenaline
these races.
rush.
Yes, you get emotional. To my brother, somebody has pulled his jersey back after passing him before. You know, people get emotional in these races. You know,
I mean, they say track is a contact sport. You know, I firmly believe that.
It looks like it.
I know, that's right. But yeah, I think it's just crazy that this has gone. Also, too, like, it's making international news. Like, it was on Good Morning America, of all things. Like, if you Google it, like, you will pull up, like, a million huge news articles about it, which I guess I never would have thought that this video would have gone that far.
Yeah. And if you haven't seen it, we have the footage. So.
That's right. It was streamed live on MileSplit, so you can go check out the footage on milesplit.com.
Yeah.
We certainly hope she's totally fine and makes a quick recovery and that everything kind of resolves the way it should. But I'm glad. It seems like she's making news appearances and
yeah. Prayers to her for sure. I mean, nonetheless, it's still an injury.
Yeah. There definitely needs to be an apology, though. There needs to be an apology to the girl. A skull fracture,
whether it was intentional or not. You should apologize.
They're definitely, because she didn't finish the race. She was on the track, laid out afterwards. There needs to be an apology for sure.
100%.
Hopefully that gets to her.
Awesome. And then this, not awesome actually, but the next thing that happened is Braden Williams went 9-9 at Texas A&M, 2.6 wind. Let's play that video. It's really fast. He's a senior in high school right now.
So yeah, this is Williams. He goes to Duncanville High School in Texas. This was at the Blue Bonnet Invitational just over the weekend. You can see him there all the way down at the bottom. And man, and then you see him cross the finish line and boom, does the look back. I mean, man, like, I think the thing that's crazy to me is First off, seeing sub 10 seconds in the 100 at the high school level is very rare. Like, that is a very limited club. But the fact that he did this in March, like, it was the season opener. It was done on March 8th. Like, for me, I'm like, all right, the sky's the limit for this kid now for the rest of the season. He still has to go through all the UIL rounds to then hopefully compete at the 6A state championship later on. Like, man, like, what are y'all's reactions to this?
Outside of the time, he did a little victory lap after. I feel like he has something left inside of him, but that's my initial reaction. The pull away that he had, it's impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know sprinting as well, but like, is that going to mean do sprinters continue to progress throughout a season at such a rate that like if this is where he's starting, it's going to just keep going from?
See, I feel like sprinter, it depends on how you're being trained. Like, are you trying to peak for something in particular? Because like if you're talking about distance running, like your opener may just be a little jog, and then the goal is to like continually drop time as you go along. Sprinters, I don't know if it's necessarily always that like linear, I guess you would say, but I don't know, Josh, what do you think?
I think it's really just it's a big testament, just no matter the time that he ran it. Sometimes with sprinting, it's just once you get that time out, that's there. He had that bullet in the chamber. Will he have that bullet ever again this season? Does it really matter? He ran 9.99, and he's the second person in Texas to ever do that in history. The only other person is Matthew Bowling. To be in that sort of sentence, that sort of statement, says what we all need to know about Braden Williams at this moment. He's going to be at Nike Indoor Nationals running the 60 meter. I'm going to talk about that later, but this kid is he's going far after that performance.
And the fact that he's in company there with Matthew Bowling, I think is really interesting because Bowling's performance, I feel like, is very infamous in like Texas track history because he did it with like a typical swirling Texas when I think the wind was over
like
4 meters per second or something like that. This was only 2.6. So, I mean, that's a lot closer to that 2.0 allowable limit. So I'm like, don't discount this performance because of the wind.
And to your point, when I first heard that he ran that, I was at a high school track meet in California in Redondo, and I'm all like, oh, someone ran 9.99 in Texas? Oh, the winds were probably crazy,
That was the first question I asked. I said, like, what's the wind?
What's the wind? Because that's wild doing that early. But 2.6, that definitely is a testament to knowing that, like, he has the ability to do that. I always hear sprinters saying, if you're able to do that in the wind, even though it may be over that allowable limit, your body still went through that. So he could do it. There's a possibility of him running 9.98 at the end of the season is there. His muscles have been there. He's been to that level. He can do it again. And
I did throw the time in like a wind conversion calculator, and it said it would convert to a 10 flat with 2.0 wind. So
okay.
Just saying.
Sounds pretty quick to me.
Awesome. And then this last one that we have, Johnny, I don't know if you want to talk to a little bit, but Mr. Beast, the world's fastest treadmill, had a lot of streamers on there.
Yeah, what's going on? It seems like all these big social media stars are really getting into running these days. But I saw this the other 2 days ago, and so Mr. Beast rounds up a lot of his buddies, a lot of the biggest YouTubers in the world, and they get on a big treadmill and last man standing. So they got 9 guys here. And they slowly ratchet the speed up one by one. And we got a bunch.
I would like us to note that Speed, the guy who raced Noah Lyles, is far right in the blue.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Kai Cenat right there.
And Logan Paul on the left.
So we got like a WWE superstar in Logan Paul. We got Speed. This is an amazing competition.
This reminds me of, like, have you ever seen at different, like, I think World Major Marathon Expos, like, they have the treadmill, like the huge one set up for people to try to like run as fast as Kipchoge ran in the marathon. And I think it's interesting seeing people trying to hold on at like his 4:20 pace or whatever and like flying off the edge of it.
I gotta give props to some of these YouTubers, man. They're moving by the end of that thing, and I think Logan and Speed are pretty neck and neck. It was milliseconds, I think, between when they each dropped it. And I also saw the side profile of it, and I mean, they are. I don't know what the mile pace would be, but they are like sprinting.
I need them to work on their running form a little bit. It was a little scary to watch. I was like, they might injure something if they go too far.
I think someone did get injured. I'm pretty sure Phantom, a streamer who's on AMP, I seen like a thread of him like hurt after this performance. So like this something is kind of dangerous as well.
Running's a real sport, I swear.
What's going on here? Because like we saw Noah Lyles, I think it was on Kai Cenat or ISO Speed, they did a race.
ISO Speed.
ISO Speed, right?
Yeah.
Are YouTubers getting into running now? Is this a cool thing to do? Or what do you think's happening?
I think ISO Speed is getting into running. I don't see Kai Cenat, Phantom, any of them really racing anybody, but I do respect that Noah Lyles is always up for a race, no matter who it is, NFL, streamer.
He also said he's making the Olympic team in 28, right?
Who, Speed?
I think he
Yeah, he
called
said
that out.
He also was trying to race Sha'Carri Richardson. We talking a lot about Speed,
coming
but
for everything.
Sha'Carri said, "I will race Speed once you come and do a workout with me in Florida." So if we can get that stream collab with Sha'Carri and Speed, like track and field may be up. Well, it's already up in 2025, but it may be really up. Like I really think so.
Sha'Carri was like, no gimmicks here. Like,
Yeah.
you better train. Like, I'm going to race someone that's training.
Yeah.
She also said I don't race for free, which I respect.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I feel like people would pay to see that too.
I would pay.
My question is though, who between us is gonna win on that treadmill?
Oh.
You put
I mean, us.
Me.
Yeah,
you put your hand up fast.
I would
Demitra.
win. I don't, no disrespect to nobody in this room. I just feel like I'm the only person who's a true sprinter.
Right.
I ran 54 seconds in the 400. I was 14.
we got the same PR at this point.
Okay.
I would argue this was more of an endurance challenge.
Hey, we're on the same page here. That's how I feel. I feel like maybe me and Johnny, the distance athletes could hang on for a little bit.
I'm training for a half. I got a little endurance in me.
Right, you guys. I broke 3 hours in the marathon. Like I could do it all.
Honestly, you got that.
I could do it all.
Yeah, I will admit. I mean, you sprinters building up that endurance side makes you a little more dangerous. That's for sure. Because I know I for one do not have the sprint speed.
I'm ready.
match.
Let's put a pin in this, and we're gonna line up next
Set it
Tuesday,
up.
the meetup.
Yep.
I'll see y'all there.
We'll get the treadmill set up, ready to go.
You can do that one. Awesome. Let's kind of get into this deep dive. We have a lot of really cool events happening this weekend. I'll kick us off with NCAAs. I'll probably start with you, Ashley. SECs, a lot of really fast performances, seeing teams come away with titles, A&M being an upset. How do you think that's going to transition to NCAAs?
That's right. Yeah. So a couple weekends ago, I was at the SEC Indoor Championships, and I think everyone kind of has this understanding like, okay, SECs, like that is like the cream of the crop. Like those are some of the best programs, men and women, in the country that are then going to be competing for NCAA titles later on down the line. And so I think that as we're going into NCAAs, a lot of those teams are, like I said, going to be favorites. And so for me, I think the question is like, all right, we've talked a little bit about this before, I think in the office, so like, strategically, like you don't really need that many points to win NCAAs. You just got to put them in certain particular places to come out on top. And so I think for me, just curious to see how that all plays out. You have some heavy hitters like Arkansas, like I said, like you mentioned, just was upset by Texas A&M at the SEC Indoor Championships. You have USC that's going to be in the title mix. On the women's side, Arkansas is looking dominant. Can anyone challenge them? So I think there's a lot of different storylines going on. But also, too, overall, maybe I should have led with this. NCAA is basically like a world championship meet with the caliber of times we're seeing going into this.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I saw this crazy figure this weekend that Steve Prefontaine's PRs across all his events would not have qualified him for any of them. Isn't that insane?
Yeah, it's weird to think about because you always think, Prefontaine, he was like the
GOAT
guy. Like you said, the GOAT, but he wouldn't even qualify these days. Like I know we posted some graphics online on social media showing the cutoff times to get into the fields for NCAA indoors to make those 16-person fields. And I think the men's mile cutoff was 3:54, which 3:54 in previous years, even a couple years ago, would be probably the top time in the field, like the NCAA lead. So I think this just shows that hey, these collegiates they're not here to play.
No, for real. And I think a big thing that we've been seeing, all these Olympians that were running at the Olympics last year are showing out just straight out the get-go. It was Leah Butler and Isabel Whitaker ran number 2, number 3 all time for U.S. in the 400 meter at SECs. These Olympians, I thought a lot of them would end up going pro, but they stayed home, stayed at their university, and it's definitely proving that they earned that spot for a reason, that title of Olympian.
And then even you're looking at the men's 200, I think back to SECs like Makanakeshi Charamba, world number 7 all time in the 200. Wow. Again, these are the types of times you're seeing world best stuff that ranks highly among the world list. And we're going to see that all go down this weekend in Virginia Beach. So
I would also like to bring up that we're not only seeing Olympians at college meets, we're also seeing Olympians at high school meets. Quincy Wilson, of course, has been, in his junior year of high school. I think we'll get into a little bit more, but let's not forget
Yeah.
high schoolers that have been to Paris Olympics, which is pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, no, it's insane. He's truly running. He said it himself, grown man time. So he could definitely be at NCAAs this weekend. And then we also have Big 12s. I'll start off because I'm a little biased, but Baylor, Nathaniel Ezekiel went 45-7. No, 44-7. I don't know why I made him a second slower just now. I'm sorry. But I think to see him in that environment going to NCAAs, and then fun fact, he's going to Nanjing right after NCAAs. So having that back-to-back is going to be really fun to see him compete, not only for himself and that individual, but also for his team and his country in that relay.
Do y'all have a favorite event you're looking forward to at NCAAs? You know, I think for me, someone that is really, I feel like, involved in like following the collegiate space. There's so many that I'm like looking forward to, but I'm curious to see like what y'all's thoughts are. If you could pick one event to only watch one, which one would it be and why?
I'm going to pick one for men, one for women.
Okay,
I think for women, the women's 800 is going to be definitely a top favorite for me. I'm excited to see the girlies go sub 2. I'm excited for all the accessories, the jewelries. I'm a fan of that. And then kind of in that same tone, men's 60 hurdles, Johnny Brackens. I'm excited to see him compete. And also his style is up there. I'm like, I need to get my jewelry game up. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, for me, I think it's going to be the men's 3,000, where we have a bunch of heavy hitters, but to me, it's like an ACC showdown of the UNC boys, Parker and Ethan, versus UVA's Gary Martin. I will say, as a who, and also with the meet being in Virginia Beach, I'd like to think Gary's going to have the home field advantage, but those guys have been trading off like NCAA leads, and they're all pretty darn close. I think it's going to be a crazy race. I'll also note that like none of them are in the men's mile, and it seems like there's more of an opportunity there for some surprise wins there. So I think 3K though.
Joshua, what about you?
For me, it's going to be a men's 800. I know he's kind of a little distance heavy, but the men's 800, Tanoda Matatsa has been running amazing. The collegiate record earlier this year in the 1,000 meter that was believed that he broke his own, you know. Then Aiden McCarthy just ran something really crazy, I believe 145 as well. So we have so many guys at 145 at this moment that it's going to be really competitive, and we still have dudes like Sam Whitmarsh in the mix as well. So I think the men's 800 is something that's always going to be it's always going to be something that's exciting, especially with Tanoda leading the way, because last year didn't have the best performances at NCAAs, but performed really well at the U.S. Olympic trials. So let's see if that experience really does him well, and can he get his first championship.
All good picks. Those would all be among my favorites, but I think if I had to pick one outside of those, I think the men's 200 is going to be really interesting, just based on what I saw at SEC Indoors a couple weekends ago. Again, like I mentioned, Makana Keishi Charamba of Auburn ran 20.13, number 7 all-time in world history at SECs to win that, but he's going to be facing off against Carly Makarawu of Kentucky. He's a former New Mexico junior college standout, and then he transitioned to the D1 level, and he just ran 20.2 the other weekend at SECs as well. Crazy to think that 20.2 would get you second at a conference meet, but I'm excited to see them go head-to-head, I think, this weekend.
Yeah, I'm excited. And those cutoff times are insane. Can we pull up the women's cutoff times?
Yeah, I know it's crazy to look at just how fast you have to be to get into this.
Mm-hmm. It's insane. I think the women, you have to run sub 23. Which is insane. And I believe these are the women's 400 entries, which we kind of touched on a little bit.
Yes.
Your Aaliyah Butlers, your Isabel Whitakers. It's insane. I think you said this previously, Ashley, but you have to beat an Olympian if you want the title.
Basically, yeah. Like, you got to have a medal to win an NCAA title. So. Yeah. Which also, I think that's one where I'm curious, again, the women's 400, maybe we could see a collegiate record, American record, fingers crossed.
That's a hot take.
I know we're going to get more into like some picks later, so I won't give away.
Yeah, save it for a little bit later.
Yes.
And then Joshua, you are going to New Balance, you're going to Nike Nationals. And then we also have New Balance, which I'll be at. Talk to me about the heavy hitters and what are you excited to see?
Man, how much do you want? Like we could talk for like an hour really about Nike Indoor Nationals, Nike New Balance Nationals. It's going to be a really exciting 4 days, Thursday all the way to Sunday. There's going to be great competition. I want to start off first here though. Jane Hindegren. She's going to be racing the 5,000 meter. First time she's ever raced this distance indoors. Last year, Elizabeth Leachman broke the national record in the 5,000 meter indoors at Nike Indoor Nationals. Jane can do the exact same thing. And the reason why is that last year, Elizabeth Leachman, she ran outdoors and she broke the outdoor national record in the 3,200 meter running 9:43. Let me tell you, Jane ran 9:38, 9:37 indoors, 4,500 feet. Elevation. So like I gotta say, she's ready to run under 15:20, 15:30 for sure. So Jane Hindegren is definitely someone that I'm looking forward to watching. I'll put in one more person too. The boys 60 meter at Nike Indoor Nationals. I think it's gonna be super interesting. There's a lot of things to really pick from, but I think this is a sleeper with Braden Williams just running 9:99. He's gonna be in that race. The national leader Nathaniel Altheimer from Washington. He's ran 6:64. Then Brandon Arrington from California. He ran 6:67 outdoors in the 60 meter dash. And this kid last year was a phenom out of San Diego. He's one of the top football players in the nation right now. I believe he's number 1 for receivers in the country. And then there's Cordell Van, who's the defending champion in the 60. So there's so many elite level guys at Nike. And then New Balance Nationals, Quincy Wilson, obviously, but we get a rematch with Andrew Salvadon. And Andrew Salvadon has won 13 straight races in 300 meters and up. He hasn't lost to Quincy Wilson at all either this year. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all lines up.
Good picks. I'll throw in a couple more. I'm going to throw in some more, too, I think that are ones to watch out for. Nike Indoor Nationals, I don't know if you looked at the boys' mile entries.
Yeah.
Sub-4 watch, maybe?
Oh, definitely.
I know we have Corbin Coombs in that field. He just ran 4:01, I think, a couple weeks ago, I believe. You're also going to have Caden Leonard of South Lake Carroll. He finished 3rd, I believe, at NXN over the cross-country season. Charlie Vouse, the NXN champion. Like, they're all going to be in there. Do we see a sub-4? I know it's hard sometimes in these, like, championship-style races, especially when it's only high schoolers. What do you think?
I think sub-4 is likely to happen. The only thing, I talked to Corbin recently, actually, and he's racing a lot of different events with his team, with the relays as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if Corbin did that at Virginia Showcase earlier this year. He raced at a lot of events, so he knows how to run on tired legs. So there's no reason why this race is going to go slow. It's going to be fast. It's going to be really fast. And I'm rooting for Corbin to break 4 minutes because he's doing it literally every place that he goes at this moment. Look out for Evan Noonan, too, from Dana Hills. I just got to drop into California. You know me. So, like, look for Evan Noonan as well to be someone in that conversation.
And then I also have to call out one more guy, Cooper Luckenhouse.
Oh, yeah. Oh. And if he's on the docket, you have to watch what he does. 146.5, I believe, at Millrose Games, breaking the national record. Anytime that he is on the track, he touches the track, it can be something special. He's going to be back racing high schoolers in this moment, but like it's the world's fastest track in the Armory, so anything can really happen at Nike for Cooper.
It's going to be exciting.
No, I'm excited. Quick question, and I should have his name memorized, so don't kill me. Quincy's going against Andrews. We saw him at VA Showcase when he lost or he beat Quincy. I'm excited to see it over a 400 distance because I don't think that matchup has happened this year yet.
Yeah.
And I think like that extra 100 makes a difference. So I'm really looking forward to see that race in person.
Yeah, I think that's going to be Andrew's second 400 meter of the season. He's ran 46 already this year, number 2 in the nation behind Quincy. And Quincy ran that 45 against pro competition. So, like, it's going to be a different atmosphere, but it may just come down to really, like, who's gonna be leading at the break.
Yeah.
Like last time in the 500, Andrew led at the break and Quincy was thrown off. USA's Quincy wasn't leading at the break and he was thrown off. So if Andrew can get him at the break, that's gonna be a big difference. But I really think I think it's gonna be Quincy. I saw him race at Millrose last year when he had that redemption on Jaden Marchand. And like I was at when he first got beat by Jaden. Then he got beat by both Jaden Horton Mims as well.
Yeah, that's right.
I was there when he got beat by both of those guys last year, and he made up that redemption at the end of the season, and I think he'll do the same this year.
Yeah, I completely agree. And start thinking because we do have some hot takes up next. We're going to dive into these hot takes. I'm going to start us off with Quincy. What time do you think he'll run at New Balance Nationals? No explanation, straight time. I'll start. I'm going to go with 45-5. 45-5. That's my answer. Johnny?
I think he's coming around. He's trending faster. So I'm going to go 44.
44 indoors.
0.99.
Nice.
Wow. Okay. I think I have to do a timeout there because that is a little fast. That is a little fast for indoors. And I love Quincy, but I'm going to go, I'm kind of in the ballpark with you. I'm going to say 45-4. I think that's well within his range.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm cool with 45-5. It'll be interesting to see how fast they run. He's already ran a lot of 400s this year. I think it's going to definitely be more about winning more than anything for Quincy and trying to beat Andrew again. He's a competitor at the end of the day. I don't think he always goes for times.
I would agree. If you talk to him like before or like after, well, I guess maybe like after like he's suffered a loss or something, you can just see like that competitive energy that he's like, okay, I'm not gonna let that happen again.
Yeah. All right, this next hot take, NCAA's, and I'm going to start with you, so prepare your answer. Men's and women's, what do you think, what team will win which one? So what team will win for the women, what team will win for the men? For context, 50 to 60 points is what typically wins nationals.
To me first? Dang, just tell me.
I mean, I'll go first because I know my answer. I think Arkansas women will defend their NCAA championship title, and I think... Ooh, maybe I didn't have the men. I don't want Tech to win. I'm going to go with A&M. I think that they might hit a little upset. Yeah.
Interesting. I'll go next. For me, I think the USC men will win, and then I think on the women's side, there's no question that the Arkansas women won't win. I mean, I think if there's any pick I could lock in right now, like almost 100%, it would be the Arkansas women.
Yeah. No, me too.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like Arkansas's got a pretty firm hold. I'm going to take a different direction. I'm going to give you my general NCAA hot take. I'm saying that Casey Klinger is going to hold it down for the 90s babies. I think he born 1998, so he's gonna represent us old heads.
How old is he?
26.
Competing?
26 competing, I believe, in the 5. So, Casey, I'm rooting for you, man, and holding it down for.
Okay, but I still want your team picks. So, like, what do you think who's gonna win?
I gotta be careful with team picks. I'm always gonna root for Virginia, and this is a home game for them. But I don't think they're gonna take the title. I think Arkansas on the women's side and men's.
We need a team. What's your team?
Let's see.
Baylor's a good option if you're looking just to pick somebody.
Yeah, we'll go Baylor.
Nice.
I'm going to be boring. I'm just going to go the same as Ashley. Arkansas and USC, Southern California, I got to represent. But I'm also curious to see how Oregon performs on both sides, especially the women. I think they have a very talented group, especially on the distance. What they did at their conference meet was I think what was expected, but they definitely stepped up to the plate compared to previous years. So watch out for Oregon on men and women's side, but especially on the women. But Arkansas is extremely hard to beat, and USC, they're performing well.
I'm honestly really curious to see how USC responds after everything that happened at Big Tens with the controversy there in the 4x4. Like, I think almost that's going to give them that fuel, that spark to like, okay, no, we are going to win nationals, like, hands down.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see how USC rebounds after everything, because they have such a talented group and such talented coaches that I think they're definitely primed to win this year.
Also, I can't believe I didn't add this when you asked what event. The men's 4x4. I can't wait. I feel like every conference there was something that happened. I'm so excited for the 4x4. And honestly, I hope it comes down to a 4x4.
I mean, honestly, every conference meet, like you said, had crazy 4x4s. I know at SEC's, the men's 4x4, like the winner between A&M and Arkansas kind of came down to that event. As I mentioned, Big Tens, USC gets DQ'd, and so they ended up not winning the team title there. And then I know at Big 12s, there was a bunch of pushing and
There was
shoving.
just a pushing, but no DQs because it was home field advantage. I don't know, but it was a lot. And then Baylor still came away with the win, and they were out of the mix. So love that for us. But yeah, it was a lot. I love how, I don't know, competitive everybody gets when it comes down to a 4x4, whether you want to run the 4x4 or not. It really brings the team together. And I think to be kind of jealous you get to go, but to be in that like environment and like teams cheering and running for not only themselves, but their teammates is really fun to see.
We saw this a lot in the conferences that the team title came down to that 4x4. Do you think we'll see something similar for the national title?
I hope so.
I'm going to say yes, because I think if you look at so FloTrack, we've done kind of like a power rankings that you can look online where you can see like how, I guess if you were to look at the event list and score it based on like the top people in the NCAA, like who would win. And those rankings are kind of close, those scores. Like I believe USC is still leading for the men, but Arkansas isn't too far away. And as we saw, A&M has already beaten Arkansas this year at SECs. And then on the women's side, I think Arkansas is like the clear favorite, but who knows what could happen there as well.
Awesome. Any more notes from anybody? I know I brought up the 4x4 at the end. I'm sorry, I had to.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't touch on too much like World Championships coming up, but like we'll have that to look forward to. We had European Indoor Championships this past weekend. I know we didn't touch on it too heavy, but those are some stuff we're keeping an eye on in the professional world. And I'm supposed to be heading over on Tuesday to Nanking to catch the action.
Yeah, have a fun flight.
It's a quick 24 hours.
Are you reading a book, watching a movie on the flight? What's your
Well,
plan?
it's pop right now. These days, it's popular to watch the map, so I got to give that a go.
Please.
Try something different.
Awesome. Well, thank y'all so much for watching our very first pilot episode of the Meetup. Be sure to tune in every single Tuesday to catch all the action and meet up with us. Bye, y'all.